Welcome back to another episode of WorryWartGamer. The Last of Us is one of those games that, if you're lucky, happens once a generation. It defines the generation that it's in, and it is the high watermark when it comes to graphics, gameplay, story, character development. It is just one of those games that is a gem. However, as technology increases and the ability to allow characters to tell the story in the way that you originally wanted them to, but may not have been able to, increases. And that is where this remake comes in. I want to try and touch on every area that this remake manages to just highlight and elevate. First off, graphically, you can see here, it is absolutely incredible. Everything on Joel moves independently. Moving up the stairs, that backpack moving left and right, the shirt moving, the gun tucked into the back of the pants. If you notice, it moves, the meticulous level of detail. And it might not be something that you notice. However, your brain picks up on this stuff and it grounds you in the experience. It just completely and totally transforms this game in a way that I don't think could have been possible. I believe that they wanted this game to tell an emotional story. They wanted the characters in the game to be able to emote as well. The technology at the time held them back. It was a stellar game. However, this is the definitive way to play it, and everything comes together here graphically. I mean, there are little things like rain and the use of the DualSense controller as well. Feeling the raindrops on the back of the controller might not seem like something you need to have to play this game, but it sets it apart on the PlayStation 5, and it does elevate the experience just like the gameplay does. Not only that, but the animation and the AI right here. You'll see Tess comes up, realizes she's not in cover, and runs behind the car, and Ellie follows. So the AI picks up on things like line of sight. It makes it that much more immersive. And I really appreciate this stuff. If you look at the lighting and the reflections, when you're outside, the rain effects, and you can actually see lights and characters in the puddles. I was actually moving around and I saw the reflection of someone behind a wall in the water on the ground. That's the level of detail that you get with this remake, and it does impact the gameplay. One of the biggest things that I've noticed is that DualSense controller. I'm outside, it's raining, it's dark, the lighting effects are incredible, and then all of a sudden thunder, and the DualSense controller underneath of your hands vibrates in a way that you haven't felt before. It's not just a vibration, it's not just something like you pull the trigger and the gun goes off. It's a subtle rumble from left to right, and it just is an incredible way to give you another sense of immersion in this game. And that's really the key, immersion. The original Last of Us told a very gripping, compelling, emotional story, but with this remake, with the engine on display here, the characters now can fully emote their emotions in the cutscenes, even while you're playing the game through the animations. But when you see the look on Joel's face when Tess tells him that she's infected, and when you see the look on her face when she says to Joel to make it easy on me, you feel the emotion coming from these characters in a way that you never could before. And that's why this remake is so important, because it's not just about the gameplay, it's not just about it looking pretty, but this game relies heavily on an emotional tale, and the characters need to pull you in and convince you, and that's what this does. I suppose it's like seeing a film that's supposed to really make you feel something, but the actors just could not pull it off. It sort of cheapens the whole experience. But imagine technology catching up in a way that you can go back in and allow those characters to truly show the emotion that the director wanted the audience to see and feel. This is exactly what's happening with this game when it comes to technology. And it's not just emotional storytelling, it's also visual storytelling. Think of George Lucas in Star Wars. He's a visual storyteller. He uses the feel of an environment and the look of an environment to tell a story, much less in the way of dialogue and much more in the way of the environment and what it does to elicit emotion from the audience. Well, with this new technology, not just the characters being able to show you those emotions, but the lighting, the environment, the detail in the environments, the sound effects, the 3D audio, all of that also comes together to elevate this story and to use the environment in the same way that Naughty Dog is using the technology to elevate the emotional storytelling with the characters. And that's why a remake is so important to games like this, because it's not just the characters and their need to be able to express themselves in a way that's much more realistic, but it's also the environment and the technology coming together to pull you into the scene before they even begin to try and show you this emotional range that they now have because of the technology. It is an absolutely incredible experience. It already was, but now, I mean, this is just one of those games that you have got to play if you're a gamer and you're a fan of narrative in video games. It does not get better than what's on display with this remake. Now, this is not the same game that you have played before. Of course, the story is the same, but there is no graphical technique being reused from the first game that you played, or the remaster, which was just the original game with a higher resolution. Everything has been rebuilt for the PlayStation 5. Every character model, the lighting engine, everything in the world, the AI pathways, the animations. Again, let's talk about the facial expression. Everything is brand new for the PlayStation 5. Yes, it's a game that you've played before, but it's a game made completely better, and it's a game that will impact you much, much more than it did the first time or the second time that you've played it, because of all of this new technology. I think about also how many times we've run out to the movie theaters to see the reissuing of a movie with special features added to it, or how about we buy a DVD, then we buy a Blu-ray, then we buy the 4K Ultra HD version of that movie. We purchase the same movie 3 times for something that they've added to it to make it better. They've added so much more to this, and the video game medium in general can have so much more added to it that films cannot. And this is an example of that. This is a game everyone should play. This is a game that you should play again if you've played it in the past, because you will be completely blown away by how much more emotional the story is based on all of the things added to this game. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.